AskReddit Storytime. Rich people of Reddit who were not born rich, how did you get rich? I'm a child of immigrants who was raised by the state. I grew up in a mix of foster and group home. Once I turned 18, I was given a packet with my important documents and released on my own. I had nothing to my name and nowhere to go, so I joined the Marines. I spent 6 years deployed and saved every penny that I could. I lived in the barracks, ate at the galley and drove an '86 Jimmy I bought cash. After getting my DD 214, I took my savings and bought a small shop and printer. For the next 2 years I literally lived in my shop and ate rice and ketchup. I built my sign shop from the ground up. Now I employ 12 full-timers and 4 part-timers. My net worth is close to 8 figures. I still work every day though. I was an early employee of a .com company that eventually went public. Had no idea about stock options really. I was in my 20s, but one day I realized I was worth millions on paper, and was one of the lucky few who was able to vest and cash out a lot of dollar before the various collapses. Changed my life. This question gets asked often. This is my story, edited from a prior response a year ago. I'm a self-made multi-millionaire, net worth is greater than $1 million, and less than $10 million. I came from a lower middle-class family. Both my parents grew up in the 30s depression and came from poor families. I have memories of my mother crying late at night in the mid-70s when I was a child, and found out as an adult it was over not having enough money for bills at the time. Inflation got crazy. I suspect most will have a similar story to mine, luck and hard work. The Doctor version is I started my own company in a technical field that eventually became very successful. The backstory is that I did the same work for others and figured out I'd be better off on my own, and the last company I worked for changed their minds about the business and laid myself and co-workers off, and it ended up being a huge gift. That's the luck part. Once I was on my own, so to speak, it was make or break, and I put in 60 to 80-hour weeks, about 40 weeks a year, and kept it up for years, making sure I had the best product and customer service of anyone in my particular specialty. Starting from scratch, it would be hard, and mostly because I'm older I'm not sure if I could do it again, though if I was 30 I don't doubt that I could. I will say for certain it doesn't involve working for anyone besides yourself, unless you're using short-term employment for someone else as an educational tool, learning a business you don't know anything about, for example, before moving on to your own business. Simply put, if you work for someone else, all the profits of your labor are going to them, and not you. You are an expense to them, and they're in the position of deciding how much of the gross profit they'll spend on you as an expense. It doesn't matter how good of a company or boss you have, that's how the accounting works. If I were starting from scratch, I'd still be going after something tech-related. Emerging, high-growth fields that would have my eye would be robotics or data mining/analysis. From my past experience I'd also be very mindful you need something that scales well, for example generates more profits and less expense as it gets bigger. For a simple example, compare an auto mechanic to an auto manufacturer. The mechanic can only work 12 to 16 hours a day. His earnings scale with his hours. A manufacturer can design something once, pay for tooling once, and profits scale up far faster than the fixed costs do. Software and software tools are similar. After the fixed costs, the incremental profits per unit sold scale up fast. Moved up to middle management in the corporate and non-profit worlds. Learned the ropes of funding and capital. Started a company with some other people and now make a bunch. The trick to being rich? Despite making anywhere from $500K to $750K a year, I live in a $150K country house, drive used Toyotas and married a woman who also knocks down a hefty salary. Grew up middle class. Never inherited money or was given anything. Bought a business. Seller financed it. Grew the business. Bought some commercial real estate. 40% occupied by my business, 60% by other tenants. Little or no assets and negative net worth in 2006. Now I have $4 in assets, a little under $2 net worth. I take about $250,000 salary. I am in the Midwest. I suppose this qualifies, maybe not in California or New York. The trick is networking and never burning bridges. Make $215K year through constant networking and making friends. People enjoy talking about themselves, so encourage them to talk. They'll become your best buddies in the industry and then continue on their coattails. Went from 60K to 215K in 3 years. Be friendly, provide honest feedback, and express to those above you that your success is marked by their success. So help those above you to help yourself move up. I became rich when I stopped thinking linearly and started thinking exponentially about money. Most of us grow up believing that you go to high school, maybe college, then get a job. The more this job pays you per hour, the better you are doing. While still believing this, I self-taught myself to develop apps for the iPhone. My goal was to land a 6-figure job as an engineer, even though I didn't have a degree. I did that, and was elated, until I realized that 6 figures doesn't go that far in Northern California. I'd been writing on the side, and released my first novel as an ebook. It started selling thousands of copies. I'd wake up and realized that while sleeping I'd made money from people all over the world. I could take a 2-week vacation, and my book would keep selling. On Christmas, my book was still selling. I discovered the power of passive income quite by accident. So I released a second book. And a third. Tomorrow I release my 10th book. I've since jettisoned the software engineering gig, even though I loved programming. I will never again work for someone else, or be paid for hours of my life. Passive income will free you. I don't care if you invest in real estate, develop apps, write books, or teach an online course. Create something that can sell globally while you sleep. It can be far, far more lucrative than you'd ever believe. By not spending money on unnecessary shit. My friends tend to throw money around at everything that comes their way. I was with them Friday night at an event and someone was trying to get us to buy something. They said to me, "You're rich, you buy it." I said, "No thanks, the reason I am rich is because I don't buy stuff like this. Besides the essential, I tend to put money into things that'll make me more money. I am worth well over $1 million, but I drive a 10-year-old truck, sometimes buy clothes at Goodwill, and always haggle on price." Read the book Millionaire Next Door. It will enlighten you. I got rich by making a lot of rich people rich, and happy. Literally. I started working for a stockbroker at the City of London, made shitloads of money for the millionaires who used to trade with my firm, at this point, making about $150,000 before bonuses, took a part of the clients and their loyalties with me to a hedge fund, got a great job, pay equals $275 before bonuses. Worked at the hedge fund for about 2 years and walked out with a couple of mil in hand as bonuses. With a few mils in savings and F&F, I started my own fund. 1 year through managing money for people, I raised more $100 mil of AUM. Count stands at about $290 mil today. Not very rich, but I guess rich enough to be accepted here. Edit, please refrain from Wall Street hate PMs. I am not the bad guys. Go talk to the people from G's City. We all say the same, seriously, fuck you haters. I work hard for the money I make and so do you. Respect a fellow man's work, you idiots. Just because you couldn't make it here, it doesn't make me a criminal. I own several businesses and I am worth a little over $2 million all in all, including the properties I own, investments and minus a mortgage on one condo I am paying off. There is no trick, the only way to do this is hard work and sacrifice. You want to watch a basketball game? Make it 20 minutes and back to work. You wanna go on Reddit? You better be off it quick or not get on it at all. I'm on Reddit now for the first time in months, and I know I will leave soon to work. I saw my friends and colleagues floundering, getting interested in their hobbies, I decided that I'd rather work as hard as I can and get the most out of life as I can. Invested in my first flip as soon as I had enough for the down payment after college. Lived with my parents until I met my husband, who was a realtor. We began flipping properties together and now own over 4 million plus in real estate after 20 years. It wasn't easy, but we are lucky enough to live in a very hot real estate market. Although we pull in enough rental income to never have to work again, I love my job, so fortunately for our son it looks like he will be set up for life as long as the market doesn't crash. He's 7 and he already likes visiting houses with his dad, so it looks like we have bred another real estate freak. Smile.